Could climate change be the biggest scam in history besides the Obama regime? Climate does change. Sometimes it gets hot and sometimes it gets cold. Sometimes the wind blows and sometimes it does not blow. Sometimes it snows and sometimes it gets really hot. Sometimes it gets really stormy and sometimes it's nice and sunny. Climate changes, doesn't it? Now we know today that climate change is that buzzword. It's a billion-dollar-plus industry. I mean, Al Gore became a millionaire because of climate change. Politicians and Hollywood people are all in on the scam and all in on the con called climate change. And now I understand that some are legitimately concerned about climate change. I understand that. But the media and the political hacks and pseudoscientists are feeding them flawed information. Much of the money that goes to environmentalism comes from us, the U.S. taxpayer. Now think about this. The co-founder of the Weather Channel does not believe in man-made global warming. He says it's a scam. The co-founder of Greenpeace, which is not a conservative organization, he's a scientist. He does not believe in man-made global warming. He believes it's a scam. Over almost 38,000 scientists have signed a document stating global warming does not exist. It's a hoax and a scam. You see, it's not settled science. And if you remember, if you can live to years ago, back in the 70s and 80s, actually the 60s and 70s, even into the 50s, it all began with global cooling. Everything was going to freeze, and someday, 10 years from now, from then, 15 years, all the world would be under another ice age. Life magazine said in 1970 that it predicted because of global cooling that in 10 years we would be wearing gas masks because of the air pollution it would cause. Sunlight would be reduced, they said, by half by 1985. And we were supposed to have this new ice age by the late 1980s. Well, that didn't work, so they went to the global warming. And in 2008, ABC News predicted that by 1985, New York City would be underwater. In 2008, Al Gore, who invented the internet, predicted there was a 75% chance that the entire polar ice cap would be completely melted in 5 to 7 years. In 2009, the head of what they call NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, James Warren, he warned us that Obama had just 4 years to save the world. And according to Obama, the greatest threat facing America, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 things, but let me tell you what he said. The greatest threat facing America today is climate change. One of the great stupid statements of all time. And really, environmentalism is an excuse for more control, for more centralized government, for more government power. One man said that green is the new red. And when communism didn't quite work out, environmentalism became the new anti-capitalist vehicle. Global warming is not only a hoax, it's a method of control. But it's not only a method of control, it's actually illogical. We know that over the thousands of years that when the heat index went up, when things got hotter, there was no cars. There was no industrialization. And what caused that? A little thing called the sun. Chelsea Clinton repeated the stupid and ridiculous claim that climate change causes diabetes. She quickly took that down. And another idiotic scientist stated that climate change is making animals smaller, and if it keeps going, the horses will be the size of cats. Al Gore, who invented the internet, said that climate change caused Brexit. He says it also caused political instability around the world, and it caused the chaos in the Middle East. I love what Michael Crichton said. Now, Michael Crichton, the writer, great books. I mean, made a lot of movies. Now, he's passed away now. He was also a scientist, also an anti-global warming person. He wrote this. I want to read this from his book, State of Fear. Has it ever occurred to you how astonishing the culture of Western society really is? Industrialized nations provide their citizens with unprecedented safety, health, and comfort. Average lifespans increased 50% in the last century. And yet modern people live in abject fear. They are afraid of strangers, of disease, of crime, of the environment. They are afraid of homes they live in, the food they eat, the technology that surrounds them. They're in a particular panic over things they can't even see, like germs, chemicals, additives, pollutants. They're timid and nervous, fretful and depressed. And even more amazingly, they're convinced that the environment of the entire planet is being destroyed around them. Remarkable! Like the belief in witchcraft, it's an extraordinary delusion, a global fantasy worthy of the Middle Ages. Everything is going to hell, and we must all live in fear. Climate change has been blamed for everything bad that has happened. And it's been blamed for everything good that has happened. I found a list of over 500 claims, a classic list of things that people blame climate change for, all right? I want to name a few of these things. Every one of these are documented, and they have a link to them as well. So let me just name a few. These are what people said have blamed things that have happened, and they blamed all of this on climate change, whether global cooling or global warming, all right? Let me give you the list. I'm only going to give you a part of it. Believe me, we'd be here all day till when we look at all this foolishness. Number 1, AIDS, aggressive weeds, terrorism, beer and bread prices soaring. The Antarctic ice is growing. The Antarctic ice is shrinking. What has climate change caused? More bird droppings. That's a new one. Cannibalism, cataracts, the decline of circumcision. Believe it or not. Climate change has caused crabgrass, they've said. Climate change has caused gray whales to lose more weight. Kidney stones. One man said that climate change has killed the Loch Ness Monster. It's made animals smaller. Did you know, one man wrote, that climate change has caused less pasta in Italy? Now that's something to think about, and that's something to be concerned about. Climate change has affected the sex life of penguins. Climate change has caused polar bears to go deaf, caused traffic jams, UFO sightings. Climate change has caused diarrhea. One man said that climate change has been responsible for the stampeding of walruses. And I like this last one. Climate change has caused the earth to spin faster. Now think about that one, folks. Well, let me conclude. Environmentalists, they've not only jumped the shark, but they jumped the whale blindfolded and without water skis. I'm Mike Franzone, and this is my show.